Once again, my brother and I find ourselves heading towards Utah.
Night one on our way to Utah, outside of Fallon, Nevada. We've pulled off on a nondescript gravel road to make camp for the night, and then we will head for Utah. Got 560 some odd miles before we get there. But it's night time now. We are up and at 'em making coffee, and then we are gonna hit the road. We got a lot of miles to make today, and we're gonna get at it. Now, one thing that was cool is last night we saw the northern lights. Now, it looked better in the camera than it did in real life, but we saw them. They were there. So that was kind of cool. My older brother said that we might be able to, so thank you, Doug. What else? Oh, these two helicopters flew over really low with their searchlights on. They flew right over the truck. That was kind of neat too. Anyway, check in later. We made it. We made it to the San Rafael Swell. We are gonna find a place to camp. We were gonna do the Wedge Overlook, but I know it gets really busy up there, so do the Wedge Overlook tomorrow, and then also do some hiking. So now, time to find a camp.
Now, this was our first time in the San Rafael Swell, so we didn't know a thing about the camping situation. Before we found a camp, we made a stop at the Buckhorn Draw pictograph panel along the way, and this thing was way cool and actually pretty strange too. The images are pretty bizarre and bigger than what I had thought. We didn't really know what they meant or what they depict, but overall, like, really cool, and you're passing right by it when you're in the area, so you might as well stop and check it out, right? So we did.
This is our first campsite in Buckhorn Draw. Let me zoom out. We think we should climb up these rocks to get up there. Well, it's morning time for coffee. I'm gonna get down and get the water boiling and get the day started. This is the Wedge Overlook proper. the area kind of goes all around here. We drove in back there and it just follows that rim around. But this is the proper wedge. Hence, the shape here is wedge shaped. Walking out on a wedge. I think we can get down there. So I think we can get down there. Maybe.
Got a lot
Step
of,
after
well, you could possibly. I'd be scoping.
So we've just about made it. Just about. I say that because we still have to go over there, but we did. Shell's coming down. So we climbed down, we parked back over there and we climbed down that, which wasn't too bad. It looks worse from here, actually. Okay, I'd like to go check out up there. So I'm just traversing this ledge here to get to another vantage point. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Wow, that's neat. And there are trails. See, there are trails down there. I don't know if it's people trails or animal trails, but there are trails.
Goblin Valley State Park is a pretty small state park, but we had a blast wandering through the hoodoos. I would bet that we probably had more fun there than anybody else. And we probably looked like, kind of strange because we're a couple of like mid-40s kids running around. Eventually it dawned on us that no one else was running around like we were, and that was a shame. I think that it's very important that we don't lose the exuberance of youth and a zest for life. There are so many ways our modern culture will rob people of their lives. You really have to make a conscientious effort to keep that from happening. And that's something that I think my brother and I have been able to do. And as we edge closer to 50, yes, the body doesn't feel as youthful as it used to, but our soul, we are still kids.
It's a tight squeeze. I don't know if I can get past it.
dinner, we took an evening wander around our camp area, took in the sunset, and got rested for the next day's adventures. Crack Canyon.
So we are doing a little side trip. One of the things we wanted to do is take on some hikes this trip and maybe some slot canyons. And this is, I think, supposedly a slot canyon called Crack Canyon. And it is either a 5.5 mile trip or an 11-mile trip, because we weren't sure if it was one way or out and back. But we'll find out. Crack Canyon is an awesome canyon hike that's overall pretty easy, but it does have some technical sections to it. But as long as you're in decent shape and you don't mind a little scrambling here and there, it's well worth the trip if you're in the area. And we were. So we were just hiking for probably close to a mile before we actually got to the trailhead, which was just about 50 yards back. So now I guess we're officially on the trail. We were actually pretty excited to be spending some time on foot exploring some of Utah's beautiful scenery. We'd been spending a lot of hours in the truck, and my body really doesn't like that much sitting. Your way is better. For the hike, the weather was beautiful and the scenery was amazing. The forecast seemed just about perfect for the hike, and in the morning it was, although that would change a bit later in the day. But otherwise, you could really not have asked for better conditions. I want to say I'm very much enjoying this hike. Just as it is, it's a win. Definitely a win, with no idea of what's coming, but this is really cool. Some poop over there. We've got a log. This is called the Ralston grip. You go here, you go right. So close. Well, I mean, this is the way of going up anyway. Going back out. Oh.
Push me this way if I...
Push you which way?
Go.
Where do you want to
I
go?
want to land on the rock.
Do you want to just step on my shoulder? Or my back? Hold on.
quality footage. Oh, that's the tree that's wedged in there. I went down and I went back up and it was fine. So we're committed to doing it now. And you just grab that webbing if you want. So you can pivot your body around if you want to. Okay. This is all like juniper berries and needles and pine needles, and man, it's crazy. It's all just, that's what this whole floor is. Crazy. Did it wash down here? It gets narrow again up here. Taller narrowness. So it was open for a while, and we came through here, which is we're the beginning of another narrow passage. And then but the walls are quite tall. So again, different. Every corner.
So yeah, a wider passage
gives you a different, just something interesting to look at. It's really cool. I would not consider it a slot canyon per se, but it does have some really neat narrow sections. And there is a word of caution: if you're hiking in late spring or summer, the canyon walls radiate heat and it feels like you're in a cooker. Be prepared with some sun protection and plenty of water, and stay hydrated.
tent post, or is it just wood?
This is like petrified wood. Oh, that's crazy.
And then how did it get up here?
I think somebody found it and put it up here. That's cool.
It is neat.
Get off my porch. Get off my lawn.
Hey, go. So even though it's only supposed to be 75 degrees today, and I'm questioning that, but also when we're in this canyon, you've got the heat bouncing off of the rock walls like we're just in an oven, and we feel like we're being cooked. It feels like at least 10 degrees warmer than it is, and when you get up on top, or when you're out in the open, you have a breeze usually. There's no breeze here, just warmth. When we're hot and tired, it's not the best time to come and do this, but your back is so wet. Well, as it turned out, it was quite a lot hotter than what the forecast had predicted, at least in the canyon. When we took a temperature reading, it was nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we had not brought as much water as we otherwise would have. But we lived anyway.
right now I am distracted by the heat because it's hot. And we are conserving water to a certain degree. But it's hot and I'm not taking in the beauty. I can feel it physically, like my fingers are kind of swollen feeling. But like I know in memory this, I'm gonna think about this place and just go, what a magical freaking place that was. And definitely want to come back. But this is mid-May. And this is probably the last weekend, maybe the next weekend or two before it starts getting really hot. Because it was supposed to be 100 this week, but they did dial back that forecast, thankfully. It was just in the 80s, but 80s is hot enough for me. But yeah, this place is pretty dang rad.
Imagine if there was like a swimming hole.
That's what my footsteps are making a song. Well, our combined footsteps.
Could be this.
Rest. Dun, 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 dun. Salvation ahead. In it are flip-flops and cold drinks and a tailgate to sit on, get off the feet while we figure out our next move, because we don't know what it is. Can't wait to get there. I gotta unlock the back. So cold and so good. Man. That's good. Due to the lack of time, we decided to camp where we had the night before. But it was a pleasant, secluded spot with willow trees for shade and lovely views. I will take just a moment to review a product that I got, and I kind of vacillated back and forth whether to get it or not, and then just decided to do it because it was like $1,600. So I've struggled with the organization of the bed of my truck. I'll have things in boxes, but things out of boxes, and they just get kind of all over the place. Plus, even with this camper being on, water will somehow make its way under here. I don't know if you can see this, but the bed cap itself got wavy. And I don't know why it did that. But water, as a result, would get down inside the bed. So whatever I would have in the bed would get wet. I've had numerous things get wet. Some things don't matter, but some things do. So what I invested in is this decked drawer system. So I just keep everything in there. Now you lose some of the functionality of a truck bed, but you gain this. So I keep certain things that I always keep in here. And there's two drawers, and you got quite a bit of stuff. So, you know, I keep camping stuff, and you can customize it for whatever. I've got some spare drinks in here. These have been sitting here since we left on Friday. It's now Monday, and these are still, they're not like warm, but they're kind of cool to the touch. So I'll keep things like these boxes. I've got tool bag and rope, fix tire patch kit or puncture repair kit, all kinds of stuff. I've got in this one, I've got some MREs. And then in this one, I've got air compressor, recovery gear, portable fire pit, like coffee stuff in here, garbage bags. But this, we packed for this week-long Utah trip, so I kind of packed a little differently than how I would normally have it set up. So you can kind of customize it, and it's durable stuff. So I don't know. I do like it, and that's a totally flat platform. It can hold a lot of stuff, hold a lot of weight. You could sleep on that, but of course we typically would just sleep up on top. But so far I'm liking it. And I also did this, I forget what it's called, rock something. It's a dust. It's got an adhesive thing, and it's just kind of like a dust prevention seal. It goes in between the tailgate and the bed, and then it comes with these here and this. And we've been through some dusty stuff, and I'd say it's worked really well. So any dust that's getting into the campers coming from somewhere else. So I like it. So far, I like this decked drawer system. Another very lovely thing to have for camping, especially in the summer when it's hot in the desert, is this water port, I think is what it's called. So it's 4 gallons of water. You pressurize it, and then you've got this thing. So it's great for doing dishes, or if you want to take a shower, which is something I'm about to do now. But you do need to have a compressor, obviously, to pressurize it. And I just always pack it with me, because as you use it, it loses pressure. So it's nice to be able to pump more in there. So I just kind of top it off with air pressure. And man, it feels nice when you've been hiking and you're dusty and it's hot, just to rinse off. So I'm smelling pretty ripe, so I'm gonna take a shower. That shower felt super nice. After that, we made dinner, watched some stormy weather that went around us, thankfully, and the next day we packed up and headed towards Moab. Moab was busy, and that was no surprise because it was still peak season for Moab. And with all the trail closures and talks of more closures coming, I think everyone was trying to cram in at least one last hurrah. And for us, it meant we didn't get to do a lot of exploring and seeing the places that we wanted to. And it meant we had to drive around quite a bit just to find a place to make camp. And so it just ended up being more of a relaxed kind of day rather than exploration. We did do a bit of hiking around camp, but didn't journey too far. It was just as well, though, I suppose. Well, we've made our camp. I don't know what camp this is, 3rd or 4th camp. We're not too far from Moab. And we've been here in this general location when I first got my Go Fast camper. And this was actually just not the exact same spot, but the same area. When I got my Go Fast camper, we headed here and we camped up here, and it was stormy and snowy, and it was really cool. Totally different now. It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees today. I don't have the camper deployed
There's already a spot here. It's kind of a mess, actually. A lot of people have been using the area, and then these are all just ashes or coals that they've chucked out of the fire pit, maybe trying to dig it down, but they should just bury it. We might try to clean it up a little bit so it looks a little more. Anyway, I found this, almost ran over it. Well, not almost, but I could have run over it because it was in the area where I was going to back in. So I'm going to keep it. It's a good tent peg. Now we're going to go kind of poke around the area. We got weather coming behind us.
Oh, I think I felt
Camp
on my leg.
is this way. We're out hiking and looking at stuff. But yeah, you can feel it. Okay.
Should we go?
Just felt a raindrop. Sit rep. The wind made dust in my eyes, and the rain has started to fall, so we've taken refuge inside the truck. It seems like it will pass relatively quickly.
Like I said, the Lord causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust. I'm not sure which ones we are.
We did have a couple of passing thunderstorms, but with it was an amazing sunset. We are at the Mule Canyon Trailhead. This is going to be our next hike to check out. It's about maybe 6.5 miles or so. And Michelle is stuffing his backpack with sweets and water and camping gear. Just kidding, no sweets. We really wanted to see some cliff dwellings, but had struck out so far this trip. But discovered there were some in Mule Canyon, which just happened to be right on our way. That was a pretty cool little side excursion, but yeah, it turned up no cliff dwellings, of which there's supposed to be some, but we'll see. So we'll continue down the wash and just be patient, I guess. That's irresistible. But it's steeper than you might think.
I think we've spotted the ruins. As we round this corner, there will be up on the cliff to the right as the rain begins to fall. But I was thinking up in there, but we're gonna try to get out of this. So up there is the ruins, and apparently there's been some vandalism. Unfortunately, people have to be. That'll probably. Unfortunately, people have to be very inconsiderate. I think we see more around the corner, but the rain is really coming down. So we're waiting it out underneath this ledge. We've waited long enough for the rain to subside. That might be a way up, or there's a sign up here that says trail, and we will make our way up there one way or the other. This looks pretty slick, or it could be pretty slick. Water is running down. See how good my shoes are. Wow. That's pretty cool. Pretty amazing. So these would have to be like, they're fairly small. These are, so these would have to be like greeneries or something. Very small. In the mud. Big rocks for the, but it's a lot of work. Turn around. No. Come on. Peel back over to the left a little bit. See, from down below, I thought all that had been worked, but I don't believe that to be the case now. That's natural. And then how interesting.
We decided not to hike the entirety of Mule Canyon due to time constraints, but we did get to see the ancient structures before we had to turn back. So overall, it was a win for us.
Now, the trail actually crisscrosses the dry riverbed, the wash, multiple times. I mean, we can. But I think most people just travel the wash like we've been doing. Now it's going to be a ways. So we're going to keep at this until it intersects the trail again.
After our hike, we continued on northward through the Bears Ears National Monument and through some of the Southwest's most iconic desert landscapes. Man, what an awesome drive.
So we pulled off. We are in the Glen Canyon area, and we just passed over this bridge, and it's like, oh, the view is so awesome. So we had to turn around and go and take a look. We have found camp. Pretty cool.
We made it to just outside Capitol Reef with daylight to spare. We even ate an early dinner in Hanksville, so we wouldn't have to bother with that evening. And we could just sit around and relax and maybe wander for a bit.
Sun's just making its way up. Meanwhile, I'm observing the little nicks and cuts in my tailgate. Just this plastic cap. And I remember when this truck was brand new and I got the first little blemish in the plastic, and I was like, I want to preserve it. And now, I mean, this is not even that bad, but now you just don't know where anything comes from. It's kind of like scars and scratches on your legs. Michelle's got the right ideas to exercise a little in the morning. And we've been sitting so much in the truck.
Well, we had to head home the next morning and wanted to get on the road at a decent time. We had a location to camp in Nevada for the following night and wanted to get there before nightfall because the entrance off the highway was kind of hidden. And we made it, just in time. Our last night of camping happened to be the only night that we had a fire, so it was fitting end to close out yet another Southwest road.